Anthony Lee from the Kinges, how do you describe yourself politically?
He's alt-right.
Give the fans a real answer, Joe.
Oh, he's probably super communist.
Welcome back to Careful Boys, where today we're talking about how do we describe ourselves politically.
All right, since you guys are afraid, since you guys are afraid, I'll tell you this.
No, we're scared.
You scared son of a bitches.
Frightened.
All right, I figured this out.
Okay.
Independently and in my, I would say within my circle of friends, I think libertarian, if it could work, but I have low faith in humanity. So if I was in power, I would rather it be communist.
Such a good
Communist for the people,
Such a good
libertarian for my circle.
Such a good answer.
I would also
if you
love
were
for
in
you
power.
to just describe what you think everybody is politically here as well, Joe.
I think most of you guys are moderately left-leaning in the traditional sense. Not progressivism, but
wokeism.
But what about in 2024? What are we in 2024?
in 2024, culturally, you're probably gonna be thrown into the conservative circle because you like logic. But but 10 years ago, that wasn't that wasn't conservative thought. Conservative thought was Protestant and you're more like a war hawk and neocon. So like that's meaning like you're pro-war, you're pro-America, no immigration at all.
Maybe more 20 years ago.
Maybe like the Bush era, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's difficult because there's different camps that will come into each party. We have two massive parties and different groups within the party that will take control. I'm seeing the Ron Paul style libertarian Republican mentality growing within the right, and
He got murdered, by the way, if you remember during the debates.
Yeah.
When he was running, like against Romney, he got murdered. The media just smeared him. They're like, he's such a crackpot. He's saying like, oh my God, 9/11, we brought it on ourselves because we're attacking the people in the Middle East. Like, what an extremist thing to say. It's like, that makes so much sense. Is that crazy?
Yeah, but he's his
You're an extremist.
His philosophy or his style of thinking and his way of expressing republicanism is kind of becoming the stronger point now. It's not so much.
It is definitely the fulcrum to me of a lot of
versus the Chris Christie, Nikki Haley, and the old school.
Let's just keep it up.
You know who they are? I think they're like the McCain Republicans.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why you guys need more than two parties.
Yeah. It's hard to
Disagree.
fit one or the other.
I actually like libertarianism. I don't like the people in it though. I don't like the party. I don't like the people that claim they're libertarian. Like a lot of them are crackpot Tea Party people. Like, but you know what I mean, right? Like sometimes you can
But principle
love
and
an
philosophy-wise.
ideal and philosophy.
Like vegans who prefer hanging out with meat eaters.
That's a good way to describe it.
Great way to describe it.
Yeah, you like it.
Why do the libertarians want to do Warhawk shit? Like,
I don't know if that's always true.
No, but you're talking about the people in the party, because I agree with you.
Like the Republicans?
No, the people in the Libertarian Party, they tend to flirt with this weird fucking expansionist shit, and I'm like, wait, aren't you supposed to be against that shit?
Yeah, you're supposed to be,
Right.
more about defense, not about offense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Strange.
I think I'm more libertarian, and I think the world probably views me as more right-leaning.
Well, libertarian is no, never mind. You could be left libertarian too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense,
No.
but yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't, but
I don't know how you could be a left.
So there's a political spectrum test where there is left libertarian and right libertarian. And I was like, what the fuck is a left libertarian society? And actually, I think it was France or one of those countries are that.
Yeah,
What's an example
France is
of
not
left?
libertarian.
No, they're not, but my knowledge of libertarian is small government, super small, and more private ownership,
Free market.
less government intervention, and personal decisions.
Is there a free market in Dubai?
Might be the most capitalistic city in the world.
I've heard that.
Yeah. There's no welfare. You pay for everything. No taxes. Very little taxes. Yeah. So super capitalistic.
Wow, no welfare.
No.
Damn. I don't even know that world.
And no taxes.
Yeah.
I can imagine no taxes. I can't imagine no health.
So like no sales tax? Like if you buy a Lambo?
5%.
5%?
5%, yeah.
That's a lot, man. Fuck.
Yeah.
5% VAT.
Here.
5% of that.
What about, is there property tax?
I think there's a 4%. And I think if you're a foreigner and you buy a property, I think there's a 4% tax, which I think like they use to just like give to the Emirati people, give to their citizens, something like that. Yeah. So they make the situation there so it works out. Like whether you're a citizen or you're an expat, you get a sweet deal.
Yeah.
So their taxes work there.
Yeah, well, the taxes are it's very, very minimal. Like if you're an Emirati, you're just.
Our taxes go to politicians.
I think if you're an Emirati, the government even like pays for if you get married, they pay for your wedding.
I'm big
Every
on-
time you have a child.
Wow.
I think when you have a kid, they pay you a bonus. Like, yeah.
That answers my next question. I was gonna say, what amenities do you get?
What amenities?
Yeah,
As
as a taxpayer,
As an expat?
as an expat.
or you said you pay 5%, for example.
Sales, like when you
Yeah.
buy a
But
meal
like,
or
what do you
something.
get from the government ever at all?
One of the cleanest and safest cities in the world.
It's a great answer. If only we could ever have an answer like that.
Roads, police, fire department.
I mean, that sounds like imagination to me.
What a nerd.
We just can't imagine the government delivering on
No,
this.
never. No, exactly. That's
I just can't imagine that actually happening. I'm like, what?
Ever.
Is it though? Is it? I guess.
That's us here, though.
Yeah. Yeah, look, anyone curious about, like, I don't want people to think I'm some, like, UAE salesman or something. I'm not.
You're doing a pretty good job.
I do think people should visit, especially.
You selling timeshares?
We have that fan, the mega fan from, where was he from?
UAE.
I thought he was from Jordan.
Is he?
Was he in Kuwait?
Oh, Kuwait, that's the one.
The guy who had the carpet on the wall?
I got no taxes there.
Yes.
Yeah, he was telling us no taxes.
All the Gulf countries, they don't have taxes. Like, I didn't know I was confused by the whole tax thing when I came to England. I was like, what the heck? Like, why'd you have to, what?
Well, we just didn't want to hang out with him because we thought we'd go to war.
No, Saudi has no taxes.
Yeah.
And it's funny because everyone's just like, oh, well, they have oil. I'm like, so does Venezuela. So does Nigeria. So does the U.S. So does the U.K.
US, yeah.
Right? I'm like,
We actually have a lot, but we're not drilling.
yeah.
We're just saving it.
Don't you feel like you get put on a list though if you travel? Like, cause
get put on the list.
you go to these certain countries, like you feel like you get put on a fucking list,
Like
2001 style. Like we're
No, but some of those countries are our friends.
The border agents in the U.S. are all actually really nice to me.
That's good.
Yeah.
They don't-
I've even been recognized a couple times.
They don't give you the fucking dick.
I had one guy who'd seen me on Rogan.
That's cool.
He was like looking at my thing. I was like, yo, dope.
That's cool.
He was like, welcome to America. I was like, thank you. No, I'll have no problem.
Anthony Lee from the Kinges. How do you describe yourself politically?
He's alt-right.
Give the fans a real answer, Joe.
Oh, he's probably super communist.
Yeah, super fucking ultra January 6er.
That's not communist.
Oh, I was just giving my answer. Sorry.
I'm like fucking anti-Shen Yun to him. That's what I am.
Yeah, he hates Shen Yun because he feels that they shut down all of his Kinja studios in China.
Shen Yun?
Yeah, those
Specifically.
ballet
The
people.
marketing on that.
It's really good marketing.
It's really great marketing.
I don't think most of my friends are political in general. They're like more like they want sensibility. Like they want.
Yeah.
So they're right wing.
Yep.
Damn. He's good. Is he a salesman or what? He's fucking good.
That's where I am too. I think like I never thought about which side I was on, but then like people just placed me there because of the logical. Like my main thing is I don't want to bother anybody, and I don't want anyone to bother me. That puts me in the right for some reason.
That's
don't
so
know
weird
why.
though, because like being a part of like the dance world too, I thought that, you know, maybe it's easy to say I'm a Democrat a couple years ago, you know what I'm saying? And now suddenly I have no idea where I'm being placed based off of like those things like logic.
It's so interesting how this is happening at scale. And it's interesting that it's not just happening in the States either. Like the whole Anglosphere, this weird shift is happening where there's this, I don't know, disillusioned middle kind of like former moderates or even liberals who are now being called conservative and sort of aligning more, even if they're like, okay, we don't agree on it, but like you're making more sense. And the progressive end has just gone so like they've the game's just come off the hinges in the past decade.
Yeah.
It's just like if you listen to Barack Obama's speeches now,
Oh my god.
he sounds like a Republican. If you go back and
was
listen
a
to his stuff from like
pro-borders-
2008,
Yeah.
2000, you're like he sounds
He was
like
a
a
deporting
He sounds like
pro-borders guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he sounds like if you listen to
Wow.
what he's saying, you're like, man,
Wow.
I can't imagine a Democrat now saying that.
I think we're all moderates because I don't think any of us are against social programs and like government educate, like being involved in education, standardized like system of education, well, any of that stuff, right? I think there's a cultural difference now on the two parties. I think there's more like, the culture, it does set the policy, but then there's just so many things that I'm like, are we really talking about like gender shit when there's still people like hungry in America?
Why is
There's
that the
still
priority?
Like,
very
why are we
weird,
talking
isn't it? It
about
is weird.
like,
But we can walk and chew gum, Joe. My thing is like,
I can't. I gotta go.
I know.
And then I go.
Do you guys want to know my theory on this?
Yes.
What is it? What is it?
You guys want to know my actual theory on
Yes.
this?
Okay.
Okay, so a lot of times people ask about, when did we enter clown world? When did the left stop being liberal? When did the woke stuff really? And I think 2012 was very pivotal.
The election year, or
Obama's reelection.
Okay, I think that what happened, and this is true across the entire West, is I think that the last legitimate left-wing fight in the West was gay marriage. I think that was the last law that someone could have looked at on the books in the UK or US or Canada or whatever and be like, oh, that's discriminatory. That's discriminatory against a group of people. If you think all of American history, all of British history, there's always been laws saying men can do this, but women can't do this. White people can do this, but black people can't do that. And boom, 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 dominoes. Like they those all got knocked down, right? Anti-miscegenation laws, black, mixed race couples can't marry. All of that stuff got knocked down. And I think the marriage equality laws, regardless of someone's stance on this, that was the last thing where you could make. There's arguments on both sides, but someone could make an argument that, okay, that's discriminatory. That's not quite equal.
Objectively.
And so once that was legalized, I think you were left with millions and millions of lifelong progressives, lefties, liberals, whatever, who they've been fighting for equality. And then for the first time in human history, you have equality under the law. From early 2010s, you have equality under the law. There's not, if anyone can point out a law in the book and say, hey, this is saying this. All of that's done. And I think you were just left with all of these people who were like,
what's next?
What's next? What's next? And I think that's why they went super goofy on the gender stuff and all the trans stuff and all the like it kind of came out of nowhere. It was like, wait, why is this?
So when a lack of problems would create problems.
Exactly. And so I think that's why it's overcorrected so much. And like they're fighting racism, but like with racism, they're fighting the sort of unhinged left has turned into all the things that they were supposed to be against.
Yeah,
they're still there swinging their swords. You know what I mean? Like the monster's gone now, and they're trying to slay white supremacy, and they're trying to slay, and everyone's kind of like, what do you do? Like what white supremacy? I mean, like.
But don't you need a break from white people sometimes? I'm sorry. Like me and Cody, we're sorry. Do you need a break? You need a little timeout corner from the white people?
Reparations.
I mean, if you want to just give me money for, like.
we can't do that.
Now they're kind of over like fighting out. My theory on it is I think that when the West started offshoring, the left was like the Labour Party. There's no labor in the UK anymore. When manufacturing left the West, then how do you maintain that voter base? So like all of the unions, all the people. To me, it's funny that I'm seeing traditional groups that were on the left, like the police, union guys, they're flipping to the right, and it's because
In both countries.
I think the left has realized that their voter base is dwindling, and now they have to appeal to college students because those are the only group of people that will go out and
show
vote in
up.
droves.
They don't show up at the polls. We know that.
Not necessarily, because we just found out from Ron that Irvine's biggest voter base, they used to be a traditionally right city. it was actually the headquarters of Southern California's Republican Party, but it's been left for the past couple of years because students are actively voting and they're 90% of the voter base in Irvine. So I think they've pivoted their strategy from manufacturing and working class to university students. So then everything that appeals to young people, that's what they're going for. And I think it's worked because there's so many politically active college students now. Like when I was fucking in school, no one gave a shit. Like people went to vote for Obama because he was black and that was it. Like no one was that hardcore into the issues. So I think that might be the case. It's like, how do you still keep the party in power and grow your voter base?
Bring him in over the border.
If the manufacturing group that you were always appealing to is gone.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah, it's shifted, and that's why it's shifted towards more of an identity politics type of politics rather than talking about economic issues or class-based issues. All this stuff, again, traditionally in the UK, because the exact same things happen, right? The Labour Party used to be the party of the working class, right? The working.
There's no coal miners,
constructors, people working in motor factories, all that stuff. Whereas similar as here with the Democrats, now the primary Labour voters are, yuppies and university students and.
Did it come from here, or did it originate over there?
I just think that the same. Both nations. I think it's probably the same in Canada, Australia. I think all these nations have just gone through the same thing.
I think it's because manufacturing went global. So then all those countries offshored it to China. And so you don't have the coal miners union. You don't have all these guys that are like, we need a party to represent us and get us better working conditions and wages and shit.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, in terms of this sort of social cultural left, it becomes less and less necessary the more genuinely equal and fair society becomes. Right? So if you were to rewind 100 years ago, back to, there's freaking 4 million KKK members and there's racial discrimination and it's horrible and there's lynching, like all this nasty stuff going on, all sorts of unfair laws, people being mistreated and so on. The proper role of the left or liberals is very obvious. It's like, look, like this is wrong, like this is downtrodden, this is unfair, this is whatever. And I think that now we are in a time, again, for the first time ever, where actually vast majority of people don't care if you're black, white, Asian, Jewish, straight, gay, whatever. Like most people are, whether they're conservative, libertarian, like people are pretty live and let live. Right? Yeah, sure, you can find a big bit if you really, really try, but most people don't care. It doesn't matter whether you're in Texas, you're in Alabama, you're in Georgia, you're in California, in New York, people don't care. People are just getting on with their lives. So I think, like I said, I just think that role, that activist role has become weird. Remember when they were doing like all the women's marches? The pink pussy hats and whatever?
Pussy hats.
And it was like, what are you marching for?
Like who's against that?
Yeah, but it's like, what's your cause? Normally when you have a big march or something, it's like, okay, we want this law, we're fighting for this.
The unity and the...
And it's like, we're fighting for equality. It's like...
For what?
For what? Like, what, if you're a woman in the USA...
What equality don't you have?
What can a man do
to push back?
Okay, go.
I think they would say that when Trump got elected, he put in judges, and that now Roe v. Wade got stricken down. So that's what they were maybe marching about.
That was before that, when they were marching.
Wait, what?
That was prior to.
No, I know, but that's what they were marching for. Is like they were resisting that. That's what they were saying.
I think you have a better idea than what they did.
But I think that's what it was.
The effect.
I think it was the worry about losing something like Roe v. Wade. And like the pussy hats was about that. That's what my understanding.
They might see this and go, yeah, that's why. I want what he said.
I think that is literally what they were.
Because you mean some of the signs will be about gender wage gaps and this and it's just.
Well, that stuff. I agree with that. That stuff is nuts. But I do think that.
Women shouldn't get paid more than guys.
Thank you. Exactly. That's what.
You know that in many big cities. Under the age of 30, women actually, on average, now are out earning men.
Yeah, because girls are better.
Because they're getting 60% of the degrees.
Yeah, exactly.
The shift doesn't happen now until motherhood. Because when women become mothers, obviously, and they should, they tend to start working fewer hours or go part-time. And so that's when it changes.
I feel like what you were saying, how a lot of people generally didn't care about race or gender or whatever for so long, but I feel like the initiatives of late have created bigots out of those people.
They're resuscitating it, man.
It's like made
Racism has been on
because
life
it's like you have a guy that generally doesn't care and he's like, yeah, everyone's cool with me, and then you force him to pick a side when he's just like trying to live. Now he hates you.
Or keep telling him he's evil because he's a white man.
Now he hates the person that's telling him.
Some
that.
of those people, like some of those activists, that becomes their identity. So now you're attacking them personally instead of the actual problem.
It's like a lot of people.
But don't make my thing is don't make them right. Like dude, I'll never forget how silly I thought the pussy hats were. I thought the pussy hats was the stupidest shit I ever saw. I really did, and I still do think it was pretty dumb. Ultimately, because you're wearing a pussy on your head, it's pretty dumb. I like to put them on my face. But the thing about it is, like, they did get rid of Roe v. Wade, so I don't like blame them necessarily because I think they were in the main correct actually. Because like, I don't look. I'm fine with it getting kicked back to the states because that's where it belongs anyway. You should get to determine what you think in your wherever you live. Like, it should reflect your belief system. That's what states' rights is all about. Yeah. But it's disturbing that that exists. Where like there are some women who are like, fuck, if I live in this state, I gotta leave the state. I gotta fucking drive 90 miles to go get an abortion. To me, but not to maybe everyone. And so maybe I got outvoted on this topic, and I'm fine with that. But that's my personal thing.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not going to get into a whole abortion convo.
Can we though?
I'm very staunchly pro-life.
You're pro-life?
I'm very pro-life.
Hey, I'm honestly fine with that, honestly.
I want people that are dumb as fuck to have abortions. I 100% believe so. But that's because I'm communist when it comes to other people, and I'm libertarian for myself.
It's gonna get filed, you know that.
Yeah, the only time I think I get accused of being a real right-winger is on the pro-life, pro-choice thing. But that's it.